Ever wondered why some of the most famous people in the world don't go by their birth names? It's an intriguing question that opens up a fascinating world of pseudonyms, stage names, and aliases.
In the world of fame and fortune, not everything is as it seems. Thank you for joining me back for another video at the Mr. Freemason channel. I hope you're enjoying your weekend, and in this video I'm going to reveal why the famous and important people and celebrities you think you know are nothing more than fictitious characters playing a role. In the words of William Shakespeare, the world is a stage, but also he was a fictitious character.
In the political realm, alternative names often serve as a tool of strategy and influence. Politicians have been known to adopt names that resonate more with their electorate, or to simplify complex names for ease of pronunciation and memorability. Take, for instance, the former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. Born as Anthony Charles Linton Blair, he adopted Tony Blair as a simplified, more approachable version of his birth name. On the other hand, musicians often adopt stage names to create a specific persona or image. This can help them stand out in the industry or allow them to separate their professional and personal lives. Reginald Dwight might not ring a bell, but say the name Elton John, and instantly, the world-renowned musician springs to mind. Similarly, actors often adopt alternative names for a variety of reasons. Some do it to avoid confusion with other actors, while others do it to create a more memorable or marketable name. Norma Jean Mortensen might not be a household name, but her alternative name, Marilyn Monroe, certainly is. Even presidents of the United States have been known to use alternative names. Did you know that President Bill Clinton was born William Jefferson Blythe III? He changed his name to honor his stepfather after his mother remarried. In this video, we've delved into the fascinating world of alternative names, exploring why and how public figures from politicians to musicians, actors, and even presidents adopt different names. We've discovered that whether it's for ease of pronunciation, creating a memorable persona, or honoring a loved one, these alternative names hold significant meaning and purpose. So, the next time you hear a famous name, remember, there might be more to it than meets the eye. And while these alternative names might be shared with just a few, their impact and the stories behind them resonate with the many, shaping our perception of these public figures in unexpected ways.
Beneath the glitz and glamour, a dark reality unfolds. A reality where celebrities and influential public figures adopt different names to shield themselves from the law, hide their true identities, and in some cases, to give life to their alter egos.
What I discovered was disturbing, to say the least. And I think, someone described it to me yesterday as there being a bomb on every page. And I think there is, because this is stuff which people just don't know. And why does it matter? Why does it matter? Because you might think, well, it's the Conservative Party, isn't it? Well, the Conservative Party spends more years in power than any other party. And it matters because what it highlights is a complete deficit of democracy. And it also shows that actually nothing happens by accident in either government or at the top of my party. Everything is decided by a quite small group of men who decide who will be an MP, who will be a minister, when that minister's career will crash by pulling various levers, who will be Prime Minister, and how long they will remain Prime Minister.
In the realm of international politics, one name often surfaces with a shroud of mystery: Boris Johnson. Peel back the layers of his public persona, and one might find a series of clandestine activities and alleged dealings that would make even the most seasoned political enthusiast raise an eyebrow. The story begins in the latter part of 2023. Boris Johnson, alongside his father Stanley, is rumoured to have engaged in a lucrative arms deal with foreign countries at war. The most notable among these, It was during this period that Boris Johnson's wealth allegedly swelled by a staggering £5.2 million in less than 6 months, a windfall directly linked to the supply of arms to the embattled nation. In the same year, Boris Johnson made a public visit to Ukraine. His statement, "The war doesn't end till I say it does," sent ripples across the international community. The supplying of arms, however, didn't stop at Ukraine. Reports suggest these transactions stretched as far as Gaza. Take a step back to the year 2020, and another intriguing event unfolds. Boris Johnson is said to have signed off on the COV-19 Act, not in the public eye, but behind closed doors. The timing, a Sunday morning at 11, strikes as peculiar. In the United Kingdom, the number 11 carries significant emotional weight, being the traditional time for a minute's silence. A coincidence? Perhaps. But in the world of politics, coincidences are often few and far between. Here's another twist to the tale. Boris Johnson isn't his real name. It's Alexander. Could this be an alias used to dodge prosecution in British courts? It's a thought-provoking question. These alleged actions and their implications are complex, layered, and not easily unraveled. They invite further investigation, a deeper dive into the intricate web of political machinations. So, dive in. Unearth the facts, question the narratives, and form an opinion that's uniquely your own. Because in the world of politics, nothing is ever as it seems. And as the story of Boris Johnson, or should we say Alexander Johnson, continues to unfold, who knows what secrets lie waiting to be discovered?
Beneath the glitz and glamour, a darker reality unfolds. A reality where celebrities and influential public figures adopt different names to shield themselves from the law, hide their true identities, and in some cases, to give life to their alter egos. The use of pseudonyms is not a new phenomenon. Throughout history, many have taken on aliases to escape their past, avoid prosecution, or simply reinvent themselves. Tina Turner was born Anna Mae Bullock, and Mark Twain, known to his mother as Samuel Clemens, are just a couple of examples, but fast forward to 2024, and the figures, or should I say characters you know today, have not changed. These characters' future and career is determined by their masters and handlers. This even exists in politics. MPs and Prime Ministers are mere puppets for the banks and the likes of Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, and the public system of voting is nothing more than an illusion of power and choice given to the public to vote on the next Prime Minister, President, or a leader of a political party or country. Today the practice continues, but with a more sinister twist. Modern celebrities and public figures often use these alternative identities not just for artistic expression, but as a cloak to evade legal scrutiny. These aliases can become a separate entity, a legal loophole, or even an scapegoat. For instance, take the case of Robert Sylvester Kelly, known to the rest of the world and everyone else as R. Kelly. His stage persona allowed him to craft a public image starkly different from his own private life, helping him evade the law enforcement for years. Other celebrities and singers you thought you once knew are exposed to as who they really are and their connections to certain bloodlines and Freemasonry. These include Tony Blair, a former Prime Minister of the UK, whose real name is Charles Linton. He was found guilty of an offence of a sexual nature with another man in a public toilet. Next up is Drake, whose real name is Aubrey Drake Graham. Next is the chat show host, as you all know as Oprah Winfrey, but her real name is Orpah Winfrey. Prince Harry, whose real name and birth certificate states his real name is Prince Henry. Rihanna, the American singer and artist, whose real name is Robin Rihanna Fenty. Even the ex-EDL leader in the UK, an activist known as Tommy Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Lennon. This was to disguise his surname, Lennon, which is a Jewish name, and which is why I now understand why the likes of Tommy Robinson and Boris Johnson joined the Jewish Supporters March in London in the UK last year. The next person is Andrew Tate, whose real name is Emery Andrew Tate III. Even the American US President Barack Obama, his real name is Barry Solero. This extends to even celebrities and singers, such as Cher, whose real name is Sherilyn, or Bonnie Jo Mason, or even Cleo.
You said a man is not a necessity. A man is a luxury.
Like dessert. Yeah. Man is absolutely not necessity.
Did you mean that to sound mean and bitter?
Oh, not at all. I adore dessert. I love men. I think men are the coolest. But you don't really need them to live. My mom said to me, you know, sweetheart, one day you should settle down and marry a rich man. And I said, Mom, I am a rich man. I am a rich man. I am a rich man. You know? My experience with men is great because I pick them because I like them. I don't need them.
Cher is of Armenian Jewish descent and admits to having cheekbone implants. She has openly admitted to maybe having surgery of a different kind as well in the past, yet this has not been clear. Jewish Freemason activists are not only limited to the likes of just Tommy Robinson and Katie Hopkins in the UK. There is one other who is constantly put in the spotlight and given a platform to push an agenda of climate change propaganda as a way to introduce more global taxes for the banks, regarding the banks and the Jewish financial system. When you understand who this person is and who they are related to, it becomes crystal clear the motive and hypocrisy while owning and travelling around the world by private jets. Some even own more than one jet. They own a fleet. Enter Greta Thunberg. With her Jewish heritage and her Berg surname, all soon becomes obvious of why all these people are given airtime.
Based in New York that represents Jewish diplomatic interests across the globe. Okay, I've left the British branch for last because it was the most successful, is currently the senior branch, and it's the branch that people in the English-speaking world are most familiar with. It starts with Nathan Rothschild, third son of Meyer Amschel. As I mentioned earlier, he earned a lot of money for the family's firm in the years following Napoleon's defeat. What's less known, though, is he was also involved in ending slavery in the UK, using millions of dollars to help buy and free slaves. Nathan had 4 sons. 2 of them were engaged in politics as well as finance and served as members of Parliament. Initially, Lionel was elected but unable to sit in Parliament because he was a Jew. However, laws were changed, and in 1958, he became the first Jew to actually sit in Parliament, his brother Meyer and his son Nathan joining him shortly thereafter. I'll also point out this brother here, Anthony. He was the first Rothschild to be granted a British hereditary title. He was made a baronet, which is slightly lower than a baron and meant that he was still a commoner, but it was an important title nonetheless. He did not have any sons, though, so his title passed to his nephew, Nathan. Nathan was later upgraded to the title of Baron, and thus became the first Rothschild to become a member of the British nobility, and also the first Jew to sit in the House of Lords.
Greta Thunberg is related to the Rothschild dynasty and is the great-great-granddaughter of the London Jewish banker family Lionel Rothschild, whose family own at least 100 private jets.
Nathan, as the senior-most heir of his grandfather Nathan, was also head of the British branch, like his father was before him. He was also involved in funding Cecil Rhodes, founder of Rhodesia and the De Beers Diamond Company. You'll notice here that Nathan married a cousin from the Italian branch of the family. He was followed by his son Walter, who was the second Baron Rothschild. Like his father and grandfather, he too served as a member of Parliament. He is mostly remembered for his association with the Balfour Declaration, which he helped to write and which was presented to him in 1917 by the British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour. It was the first official statement by the British government in support of the creation of a national homeland for the Jewish people in Palestine. However, not all of the Rothschilds were Zionists. This cousin here, who also served as an MP, was actually against the creation of a Jewish state, and he created the League of British Jews to oppose it. But back to Walter. Walter had no legitimate children, so the next Baron Rothschild was his nephew, Victor. Victor was a member of MI5 during World War II and was an advisor to many British prime ministers up to and including Margaret Thatcher, although at one point he was suspected to be a Soviet spy. He, however, was cleared of those charges. He was followed by his son Jacob, who is the fourth and current Baron Rothschild, currently also the most senior male member descendant of Meyer Amschel Rothschild. He has a son named Nathaniel, who will one day become the fifth Baron. It is Jacob's face that is often seen in the many conspiracy theory videos about the Rothschilds. Let me point out a few other interesting connections. Jacob has a half-sister who is a Harvard professor and married to Nobel Prize-winning economist Amartya Sen. He also has a half-brother who married into the Guinness family. Yes, the family of beer and Book of Records fame.
How come you never protest Saudi Arabia or Russia? You only protest Western energy. Why have you never criticized Vladimir Putin or OPEC?
Yeah, I've never done that. Never, ever.
Will you do so now? Will you condemn OPEC energy?
Greta, can you condemn every single delegate that's come here on a private jet? Surely that's something you should condemn.
You can do it too.
I could do it, but you're the one who has such a strong stance against climate change. And, if it's true, I commend your efforts, but could you condemn them taking private jets to these meetings?
Why won't you condemn private jets? Have you ever been on a private jet even once?
I own 100 private jets.
Well, have you been on, how about once? Have you ever been on a private jet?
All the time, yes.
What would be more confusing is where Princess Diana comes into this intricate web of bloodlines and families. It is believed that her mother had an affair with James Goldsmith, a multimillionaire from a Jewish financial background. But why would the royal family want Princess Diana, may you ask? Well, let's take a deeper look at the family tree.
They had 3 children. Their son married into the Hilton family of hotel fame and is the brother-in-law of Paris Hilton. Their daughters married the Goldsmith brothers, one of whom is currently a British MP. On the business side of things, the running of the actual company established by Nathan Rothschild eventually came to be run by this branch of the family here. Most recently, Evelyn Rothschild, who also served as the personal financial advisor to Queen Elizabeth. In the 1980s, there was a family feud between Jacob and Evelyn that ended in Jacob leaving the original company. Later, after Evelyn retired, the British firm eventually merged with the French branch, as I mentioned earlier, and is currently being run by David de Rothschild. If you go to their website, Rothschild.com, you'll notice that there are links to 2 main Rothschild companies. Rothschild & Co. is that original company started by Nathan, now run by David de Rothschild. Edmond de Rothschild is a company run by a junior part of the French branch.
The other 3 siblings of the Goldsmith family consisted of Ben Goldsmith, Zach Goldsmith, and Jemima Goldsmith. The name Goldsmith might be familiar, or you might have heard it somewhere on TV. This is because there was Gary Goldsmith, who went into the Big Brother show in the UK. This is where the web and intricacy becomes even more tangled. Gary Goldsmith is the son of Ronald Goldsmith, who was the brother of James Goldsmith, who is believed to be Diana's father. Gary Goldsmith is also the brother of Kate Middleton's mother, Carol Goldsmith. This is why you start to understand how these bloodlines keep the wealth within the families and amongst themselves. They disguise their identities through marriage, or by changing their name or using an alias. This would mean that Kate Middleton and Prince William are second cousins. It is not until you dissect and decipher the family tree you see how strong the bond and connections are between the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and the Goldsmiths. This is why the royal family and Prince Charles needed Princess Diana, and for her to bear children with Prince Charles, as a connection to the Goldsmith family. That tie and connection can also be shown today, with Prince William married to Kate Middleton, two distant Goldsmiths, being tied to the royal family, giving the royal family a hold and an influence over the Goldsmith family. Links, ties and connections to these bloodlines and families stretch across the water to the United States. Here you will find the talk show host, Ellen DeGeneres, but when you look into her family tree, her ancestry, and who her relatives and relations are, you will find that she is a distant relative of John D. Rockefeller and David Rockefeller. She also has links, ties and connections to the Rothschild family. This is where her second name, DeGeneres, comes from. The resemblance and appearance to these family members and Ellen DeGeneres is beyond uncanny. Some celebrities go a step further, creating alter egos and distinct personalities that emerge in their performances and personal lives. Beyonce's Sasha Fierce or Eminem's Slim Shady are more than just stage personas. They are often the hidden aspect to their psyche and expressing a darker meaning. This is nothing more than a demonic possession. When they say they have sold their soul, they have not sold their soul as an entity, as you would understand, but more of a trade-off for entities to possess the body and do as they wish for a short period of time while being in possession of that individual. But what happens when these alternate identities are used to mask criminal activities? The line between the real person and their alias blurs, creating a labyrinth challenge for law enforcement. Some use their dual identities to then engage in illegal activities, shielded by their celebrity status and the confusion over their true identity. Then there are the whispers of something even darker, claims of demonic possession. Celebrities have often spoken out about their alter egos as if they're entirely different entities, taking control of their actions. Nicki Minaj has referred to her alter ego as Roman Zelensky, as a demon inside her, while other stars have hinted at similar experiences. These stories beg the question, are these alter egos mere figments of the imagination, or is there something more relevant at play? Do these figures tap into the supernatural forces, inviting entities that thrive on fame and chaos? In the end, the world of fame is a double-edged sword. It offers unparalleled opportunities for reinvention and escape, but also a tempting stage for the shadows that walk amongst us. As the lines between reality and illusion blur, one must wonder, who are these celebrities really, and what forces lurk behind their masks? Is this the hidden world of celebrity aliases, where fame, law, and the supernatural collide? I hope you enjoyed the video and the content. Consider smashing the subscribe button to stay up to date with the videos and be part of the community and the family. And if you enjoyed the content, please smash the like button, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care for now.